So we started with
Okay, that's fair enough.
the Chris Pine, uh, James T. Kirk ones. Are you
You
okay?
you did you didn't. No, I'm not okay. It's kind of more of a question, but I thought this is the kind of question that really brings stories out in us. And it's Daddy tell me a story about the first fandom that truly felt like home. So do you have one in mind? Because I had to think about
Hmm.
mine.
So I'm gonna have to go with probably Star Wars, to be honest. Like I can think of other fandoms that I was a part of before that. Like when I was 4 or 5, for whatever reason, I really, really, really liked The Man from Snowy River.
Oh, that
Um,
was a great film series. That was a great
yeah,
series and a film. It was a film.
yeah. It was the film. I used to watch the first one. There
Yeah,
was a couple of films. I think there was
you're right.
one or two, maybe three. Anyway,
I mean, the
but
first was the best one.
yeah, no, definitely. So much so that like I had a bunch of horse toys when I was younger and things like that, um, and then of course there was Tron. Absolutely loved Tron. But Star Wars, we would watch the original trilogy as a family at least once a year, and
Okay.
absolutely loved it. Loved it so much, and it really brought together our family. Because, like I said, I've said several times on the podcast, one of my dad's favorite things was spending quality time as a family watching a show together. And so, when it came to rewatching movies, Star Wars was huge, which is funny because we didn't watch Star Trek near as much, but when it came to merchandise, my dad had way more Star Trek merchandise. Like he had,
Really?
oh yeah, he had a diecast Enterprise on his desk at work. He had tapes to learn Klingon. He had a what is it, a transcoder, the little the talking device, whatever. I can't remember what that's called in Star Trek. um but he had one of those. So he had all kinds of Star Trek merchandise, and we would watch the Star Trek movies maybe every 3 or 4 years. We'd go through them, but not near what we would with Star Wars. We would watch the Star Wars at least once a year, the original trilogy. And so yeah, no, we absolutely loved it. And when the prequels came out, um, we we watched Phantom Menace 2 or 3 times in the theater with my dad.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, sadly, my dad passed away before Episode 3 came out, Revenge of the Sith. But yeah, he loved it.
Is it sadly?
It
That
I
movie's
consider it.
you like that one?
Well,
I mean, it's
so
sad your dad died, but is it bad that you missed episode 3? Is all I'm saying.
that so the prequels definitely had their issues, but um, given what we've got nowadays, it makes you appreciate them that much more.
Fair. It should always go. Now I get you love what you love when you see it first. So my kids, unfortunately, saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in that order. So they do have a spot in their hearts for 1, 2, and 3 because it was the first things they experienced. I was a bad father at that point. Actually, I don't think I did it. I think their mother and their grandmother did it. So I blame them. Um, but it should go 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. In my book, they progressively got away from what made 4, 5, 6 great, and 7, 8, 9 is arguably 4, 5, 6 just kind of reskinned and
Yep.
re-released. It's Overwatch 2. That's what it is. So from what I understand, I didn't play Overwatch and Overwatch 2, but that was a big controversy. I think if I got that joke right. Um, and I get that, Joe. My mind went in different directions. Like where the question literally was, felt like home. And I grew up, and I thought about that. Well, I definitely grew up with Star Wars. As you're talking about childhood, I grew up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures and
Yeah.
and connecting with my friends on that. But honestly, I just never connected to a fandom like, those are my people. I guess is where I really took it to, because yeah, I love the turtle stuff, but I didn't really want to go see the Ninja Turtles live show that they toured with. I didn't really want to dress up like them, so it I even though I wouldn't really dress up because that's not my thing. Everybody knows it's not my thing. It was the Borderlands fans in that community that just landed with me in a way that nothing else has. Like I learned about Reddit and searching things through some of the other games and stuff like you've told me, and hey, go look that up. But I have just lurking, and you gotta help me. You got it. Somebody's got to teach me how to use Reddit without lurking because I need to get my Reddit points up or whatever. So on the podcast guest exchange group, I can actually say, "Hey, I'm the perfect guest of what you're looking for," or "Hey, why isn't there?" We can't because my reputation. I have nothing because I don't interact. Anyway, I got distracted. That's my real fandom is distraction squirrels. But it was Borderlands 4 is the first one I watched YouTubers and Twitch streamers on and just really enjoy their play style and watching how they take on the game. Um, it seems far and few between. Like it's not a thing that shows up at cons. You're not going to see a big Borderlands cosplay meetup at Dragon Con because it's just not that big of a property. But the jokes, the people behind it's one of the first games that I really want to learn more about the people behind it and the companies behind it and the stories behind the game. And that's been my fandom of, and what sounds like what your dad in Star Wars was of those were your people. Now the question I have for you now, Joe, is the Star Wars fandom, are those still your people?
Hmm. I
And
don't
I will
know.
even
So,
eliminate the bro tier caustic crap because that's what ruined Star Wars for me was the bro tier caustic crap.
yeah,
But not
but
that notwithstanding, the Dragon Con Star Wars people.
yeah, the fandom has shifted so much since our childhood. Um, that I don't think it is anymore. It doesn't feel like home anymore. Not the fandom in and of itself. Um, Now I still enjoy a bunch of the stuff, even some of the new stuff that's coming out. Like the Mandalorian first couple of seasons was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, no, it doesn't feel like home anymore, and
See,
that's
I
kind of sad.
argue. I'm sorry that I am sorry that it's sad that it triggers there for you. I argue that people were in love with the Luke Skywalker, the Skywalker saga, and not the world of Star Wars. Because I agree. To
Mm,
me, the films I gave you my listing of the films. I haven't really made time to watch the animations. A lot of people do like the animations, but for me, it's and the animations still fall into the Skywalker saga. That's probably why I haven't made time to watch them. But the stuff that's the outliers, Mandalorian being a big one, is a book. I really liked Book of Boba Fett. I didn't fully agree with the direction they took it in, and yes, it is Mandalorian season 1.5, but I still enjoyed it, and I enjoyed. And these are had nothing to do with the Skywalker saga, really. It was here's the world of Star Wars, and I think that's what you and I possibly fell in love with in the early days of it. Like Planet Hoth is my favorite. Just I'm watching as a kid, even in my head right now. I'm watching as a kid these real world AT-AT and ATST walkers and the X-wing, not X-wings, but whatever, all the dirty crap that I can't remember flying around. And how did they do that? It was so amazing. That's what I fell in love with. And the fandom of the movies and the movies themselves have gotten away from that. I do believe. You
yeah,
know. But I realized today it's kind of the same with Star Trek. I've always been more of a Star Trek fan than Star Wars in general. I think they both can exist equally side by side, just two different vibes, right? Two different ranges there. Um, but yeah, as it's progressed into my adulthood, I like Discovery. I liked what they did in the first season, and it kind of progressive got out of the range of where I liked it, and then when a big change happens with the Red Angel, okay, because I don't want to ruin it for anybody if they haven't seen it, they want to, but there's a story arc with this character called the Red Angel. After that season, to me, it changed 100%, and it just wasn't for me. I haven't watched.
Picard,
No, I've watched Picard, the new Star Trek.
Strange New World.
Yes, that one. I've not watched that one at all. Just that, just haven't get to it. But I watched Picard, loved the first season, very next generation to me. It hit all my fan notes as a teenager and a college kid watching that. Season two, it was true to generations and how they do things, the next generation vibe of Star Trek, but it's okay. It's all right.
Okay.
Great callback though to the movies. Great callback to the movies. If you haven't seen it, it has to do with the boombox. It's great. Um,
Okay.
but I'm in season three and I'm going,
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of low key hate it because while I should be happy that they're bringing all the characters back as a producer myself and as a content creator myself, I'm like, I think you could have written a strong story without having to rely on bringing every old face back and having fans go, oh, I'm going to get my favorite character.
Yeah.
And I'm great. If you enjoy that, that's great. I can see where these people are making you happy, but it's just not for me.
Yeah. Well, and some people go way too heavy handed with fan service, and that sounds like what they're doing. I haven't actually watched it, but it I am unsurprised because at least over the past 5-10 years, that's what it's been whenever they go on these nostalgia trips, is they're way too
Yeah.
heavy handed on the fan service. So
Yeah.
it can work if they do it well, but sometimes they're just doing fan service to do fan service, and it doesn't actually help with the story.
Yeah. And I watched some reviews on the newest one is Academy, Starfleet Academy, but it's Starfleet Academy set in the distant future storylines of some of the current Star Trek shows. But even there, I haven't watched about what in the review they're showing. Well, even there they make a cyborg body of Picard, but it's his current age in real life today, right? And instead of like the young captain that or admiral even that you would think it would be because they didn't want to CGI him younger.
Yeah.
But he Jean-Luc Picard is to some effect in that show. Um, and yeah, I mean, just everything they talked about. If you like Starfleet Academy, good. I'm going to tell you right now, from watching like true reviews of it and explaining the breakdowns, not for me. Just again, not for me. And again, that's a fandom that I enjoy, but you don't see me hanging over to Trek Track because I don't understand the level of love that you have for it. And I think to me, that's what defines a fan.
Yeah, we only just recently introduced our boys to Star Trek over the past few weeks, and we knew based on our boys that if we tried to show them some of the older stuff, they wouldn't care for it. So we started with
Okay, that's fair enough.
the Chris Pine, James T. Kirk ones. Are you okay?
You did. No, I'm not okay. I can't. I see where you're going. I see where you're going because in my mind, I would have started with Generations and then that came later. But what you did was that's classic Star Trek in the Kelvin universe. So I
Yes.
see. It's gotcha. Yes, that's. I just my brain twisted for a second. Didn't get the dots connected quite right.
Yeah, so we've watched the first two, so Star Trek and Star Trek Into Darkness. We need to round it out with the third one in that one, and then we'll see if they like it well enough. If they seem to be liking it, maybe we'll go back to some of the older movies and whatnot. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's yeah. You gauge to see if they jump into your level of fandom, right? They meet even where you are because then it goes down there whole okay, if you like that, then here's where you'll understand more and you fill in those gaps with the classic and then generate next generation and you start watching things in kind of chronological order. But yeah, if they don't care,
Yeah. Well,
it's
and
not going to be cool.
the the special effects and the just the action packed portions of it, I don't know, the way newer movies are shot, the action seems more intense, I guess, is the what I'm going for. But I think it's just the way
Yeah,
that
no,
it's shot, not
that's
necessarily that it's less
right.
action or less action scenes. It just seems more jump cuts and things like that is what they're
Didn't
more.
we talk about this on a previous show of how do you bring where do you bring your kids into a fandom when it's that big?
Yeah,
Like,
we
it's
have.
such a hard question.
It
I
is.
thought we had. So
Well, because you want to be respectful to what's come in the past, but also gauge what they will actually latch on to. And so, like, if we tried to start with Shatner's uh, take of James T. Kirk, I don't think they would like it.
yeah, I mean, yeah. It's. I'm thinking right now, where would I start my kids on Star Trek? I have no real idea other than whatever maybe current catches their attention. Then I can go back and say, oh, try this, try this, try that.
And I didn't
But
even consider trying any of the TV series. We just they're not going to have the attention span for it, to be completely blunt. And so the movies was the only consideration we made, and so we decided to start with the Chris Pine. The what did you call it? The Kelvin verse?
that's what it's called. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it had something to do with the first one when
Yeah,
they were
it's
first coming. It's like a way they shot the scene and the lighting or something.
yeah, it's his Kirk's dad's ship at the beginning of the first movie was the USS Kelvin.
Okay. They also played it with like maybe that was it at first because then I think it was J.J. Abrams who did it.
Yep.
And he was talking about because he's a big kind of lighting kind of director. But they talked about temperature. I guess that's what it is. It's a Kelvin,
Yeah.
so it's a Kelvin verse. But then it became also things in this universe are a different shade of light, which is different temperature. Blah blah blah.
Okay.
And that's how we got Fast and the Furious Star Trek, which I very much enjoyed. But that's literally what it is. And if your kids don't want to watch Kirk do his thing, well, too damn